I'm going to do a teardown of the 40 pint Whirlpool Accudry dehumidifier. This is from the late 90s. It's got a reciprocating compressor, which I'm pretty sure is an Embraco, and the fan motor is an Emerson. These were subject to a recall back in 2002. It says that they could overheat and start on fire, but this one was run for years and years after that, and it never overheated, even when it was really dirty. I've cleaned it since then, and it still works great. So I'm going to take it apart just to show the insides of it on video. I mean, I don't think it would start on fire, but I'm just slightly hesitant to use this one now. It's really a shame that this dehumidifier had that issue and had to be recalled, because these work really well and they last forever. I think there were about 13 reports or so of these things overheating and starting on fire, which, I mean, considering how many of these things were sold and how popular they were, it's not that much, but it's still a little bit concerning. The back of it, like this part, the part that wraps around the back and goes down to the bottom, is made of metal, but this is plastic, and so is this top. So, yeah, it's kind of a shame that these were recalled, but I still think they're really good dehumidifiers. I'll take the bucket out and we can look at the specs. Turn that down a little bit. Alright, there's the model and serial number. It's 40 pint, R22, 6.8 amps. This has a continuous drain option. You hook the hose up right there. The original cap that would go on here was lost a long time ago, so put a Coca-Cola bottle cap on there and put some spray foam insulation around it, and it doesn't leak at all, so it works. And there's the float that comes up when it's full. This has a 2-speed fan and a mechanical humidistat, which is totally inaccurate at this point. It turns on the same position no matter what. Doesn't matter how humid it is. So we got off, normal, driest, and then all the way over is continuous. Here are the screws you need to take out. You gotta take these two at the back of the top cover off, and you can lift that top cover up. And there's 2 screws. Well, normally there would be 3, but for whatever reason the middle screw is missing on both sides, so you take the screws on sides of this part off, and then you can remove that. Alright, front cover is off. This pulls air in the front, so this is the evaporator coil right here. At one point, this thing, the fins were totally flattened on it, almost totally flattened. So I straightened them out as best as I could with a screwdriver, and there's plenty of air flowing through it now, and it's pretty clean. This does not have aluminum refrigerant lines. These are copper. I just put Rust-Oleum on the ends of these, on the ends of this coil to keep it from corroding. This is a defrost sensor, which doesn't work anymore. This thing has frozen solid a few times because the basement was too cold and it was a solid block of ice, and it still didn't turn the compressor off, so that's gonna have to be replaced. This thing is not low on refrigerant at all. It's done that several times when the basement was too cold. Normally it works just fine. I got the top cover loose as well. There's the back of the controls. Emerson fan motor. Let me take the rest of this apart now. Brought it over here where the lighting is a little better. You can see there's the condenser coil right up against the back, and it blows air out the back. So I gotta take these 2 screws off. That screw down there that screw. There's one up there, one up there on that side, and then one down there. Alright, back cover is off. Take a better look at the inside. So like I said, it pulls air in through the evaporator coil at the front and then blows it out through the condenser coil at the back. That is a made in Mexico Emerson fan motor. Let's see if there's oil ports on that one or not. This Emerson motor on this older Kenmore dehumidifier does have oil ports. You can see them right there, but this one doesn't look like it does. Still spins nice and freely though. This really isn't very dirty inside at all. I have cleaned this out a few times. This thing ran for several years, being totally stopped up with dust. Like I said, the fins were completely messed up and it was all full of dust on the evaporator coil, and the condenser coil was blocked with a sheet of dust as well, and the air coming out of the back of this thing was really hot. Now it's just sort of lukewarm like it should be, so this thing is still working great. And you can see that I sprayed, Rust-Oleum on that. I did that a long time ago. There's our discharge line going into the condenser, capillary tube going into the evaporator, and the return line. Here's the compressor. This does not have a capacitor in it anywhere, so the fan motor is shaded pull, and the compressor is probably a resistance start induction run motor, meaning it has a high resistance start winding and a centrifugal switch that turns that winding off once it's up to speed. Here's the terminal block on the side of the compressor. This compressor is Italian made. I think it's an Umbraco, but I'm not exactly sure. Take a look at it. Made in Italy. And just for comparison, there is an Umbraco compressor on my Kenmore. The Umbraco compressor in this Kenmore over here was made in Brazil. Let me turn it on real quick. Runs very smooth. This thing has a lot of hours on it. It's been used for years and years. And for a while, like I said, it was very dirty. It's not going to run right like this because all the air is just escaping out of the top rather than going through the condenser. But discharge line is getting warm, and the evaporator is getting cold already. Even the return line is getting a little cold. So it definitely works. I just started it back off. I'm actually going to let it run for a little while like this so I can check temperatures on the coils with my thermometer. Alright, let's check our evaporator temperatures. That's at the top. Here we go down to the bottom. Yeah, it's getting really cold all over. I just pointed at the area with the fins. Definitely working well. I think that's the best reading I'm going to get on the discharge line. It's really hard to get a reading because of how small it is, but it's definitely getting warm. These loops starting to get very slightly warm, but not much yet. A couple minutes later, condenser coil is getting warm. It's hard to get a reading on those small tubes, but it is getting warm. There's our evaporator coil temperature again. Whole thing is nice and cold. It's been running for about maybe 10 minutes now. Coil is getting some condensation on it. It has not frosted up at all. And while it was running, I went ahead and ran my thin comb through the evaporator coil to straighten it out a little better. That's the one I used right there. That is 14 per inch. And it's looking a little better now. Take a look at the coil temperature again. So it's nice and cold on both sides, all the way from the top to the bottom. And that's the condenser coil temperature, which I'm surprised it isn't higher because there's not much air going through it. Let's try and get the discharge line again. Yeah, that's not going to work. But it's definitely warm. It's very warm. Almost too hot to touch. Let's see if I can get that. No, that's not going to work. Now I'm going to shut it off and put it back together. Alright, so I'll put it back together. Let's turn it on and let it run for a while on low. It's at about 6.4 amps and 469 watts. Been running for quite a while now. Let me see if I can get you a compressor sound without the fan running. There's high speed. It's been staying around 6.24 amps and 458 watts. Let's go up to high speed. 6.46 amps, 474 watts. Air coming out of the condenser is a little warm. And take a look at the evaporator. It's not icing up or anything. It's not very humid, but there is some condensation on those loops. It's hard to see. There is a little bit of condensation. I'll pull the bucket out and show you that light that comes on with the bucket out or full. Alright. Still hissing. Definitely has a lot of hours on it and probably will end up going back into service eventually.